Hi there everybody and welcome along to episode 70 of the Big Quiz 19 right here on Facebook. Hope you're all doing well, and for those of you watching a repeat of this, you need to skip ahead about 10 minutes or so, or maybe even less than that, 5 minutes or so, to get to the first questions. But for now I'm going to do an introduction just to welcome everybody who are watching live this evening. We're starting a little bit later because I was on TikTok live earlier on, so I didn't quite get to start the show here as quickly as I'd like. But yeah, thanks for those who are joining now. I know a lot of you have been waiting, so I really appreciate that. We have got 3 more quiz rounds coming this evening, as always, so do let me know in the comments as we build up tonight. Say hello before we start at about 8 o'clock. It might be that we start a little bit later on because I haven't started quite as early as I normally would do to welcome people onto the live show this evening. So yeah, but what I do to begin with then, as many of you will know already, is I like to share the link out there of the live show across some other Facebook pages whilst we wait and allow people to join in. So if you want to do that, if you can hit the like button and share it and do all that kind of stuff, that would be much appreciated, because it might mean that we get some more people watching along tonight while I am sharing the link, and then I'll be in the comments, and when I'm in the comments I can then start talking to you guys as well. But yeah, the first round we're going to do is called Alias Smith and Jones. That means it's going to be a quiz round all about people who have been called Smith or Jones or are called Smith or Jones. Okay, so mainly entertainment related, I think, but all the people in it have got that as part of their name. All right, so we'll see how that goes for you this evening. Round number 2 is our Disney round. Brought back a Disney round again for people, and then round number 3 will be 1990s. I'll tell you why I was inspired by that a bit later on. So yes, I'm just sharing the page out here myself now, but all the different interactions, engagements on any post I do are appreciated. So let me just share. Oh, what's going on here then? Facebook appears to be playing up again, so let's just do this. Here we go. There we go. Right, that's that one shared. Facebook is a little bit silly. You know, I have a love-hate relationship with Facebook, so you'll have to bear with me this evening as I sort this out. But yeah, let's have a conversation in the comments now. I don't know if that one posted, but hey, we'll get by, I'm sure. So there we go. Let's see who's here. Goodness me, there's some comments already. Fantastic. Right, so we've got Diva is here. Thank you. Good evening to you. Hope you're doing well. Vernia says, good evening all. Eric as well. Good evening to you. Silame, good evening too. And Sue, thank you for joining. Great to have you here. Mini Quizmaster has stood up, standing proud with the Big Quiz 19 notebook. I'm sure you've noticed that already. Trying to mix things up with my background like I used to, but mainly with the Mini Quizmaster these days. In my first ever, or some of my first shows, God, maybe around episode, I don't know, maybe around episode 20 or so, I used to have all sorts of things going on back here, but I've calmed down since then. It used to be a case of spot the difference. I don't know if any of you remember that, because I'd add something new for every show I did. And then I ran out of fun things to put there, so then I stripped it right back. Anyway, we're almost coming up to 8 o'clock already, but I'm going to give it just a couple more minutes to start, because I know that there are some people who would want to join that won't have had the time to, because they may have thought, I don't know, maybe I wasn't starting because it was a bit late. But I am a bit late starting tonight because I was on TikTok Live for only the second time in the build-up to this show. I think that's what I'm going to do a little bit more often, because it makes sense that if I'm going to go on live over there, since I unlocked the ability to do that, thanks to getting a certain amount of followers there, it makes sense if I do it at all. It's in the build-up to my Facebook shows. And I may do that, so if I do it at all, it'll be then, and I might start doing that, maybe not every week, but I'll try and do it most weeks, so I can engage with people there as well, and introduce them to the Facebook live shows over here. Good evening to Luke and Jane, hope you're doing well. Britzillians are all in the house tonight, all in one house tonight. Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. All right, yeah, that makes sense. Hi, the donuts are here too. Very good. Right, so it's great to have you all here, guys. Let's see who else we get joining in as we start the first round, though, which will be Alias Smith and Jones. So 15 questions, general knowledge, but every question or answer has a connection to the name Smith or Jones. That's how it works tonight. Keep a note of your own answers. Do not put them in the comments for those of you who are new to this show, you just make a note of them yourself, okay? When we get towards the end of a round, I'll ask if you'd like any repeats of questions. I can do repeats for you, no problem at all, and that gives everybody a bit of thinking time on some of the other questions that maybe they were stuck on. Then I'll read through the answers. There are 15 questions in each round this evening. As I read through those answers, you mark them yourself, and then you can let me know in the comments, along with your pub quiz team name, if you've thought of one. Let me know in the comments what your score is overall. Don't worry if you haven't got a team name, it's just a bit of fun because this is kind of spun off from an actual pub quiz, so I encourage people to have a fun pub quiz team name if you like. If you don't want to put your score in the comments, if you don't want to say hello in the comments, again, that's fine, but the show is much more fun and interactive with the more people that do that. So it's entirely up to you. If you're watching a repeat viewing of this, then please do leave comments still, because I like to know people are doing that and how well you did in the quiz rounds. Okay, so let's just make a start then, shall we? And we'll see who else joins us. The first round is Smith and Jones. Here we go with question number 1. Which actor played Les Battersby in Coronation Street? Which actor played Les Battersby in Coronation Street? Remember the theme of the round. If you don't see Smith or Jones in the question, chances are it's going to be in the answer somewhere, based on the fact it's that kind of quiz round. I'll give you that much of a hint now. Now you know how the round's going to work, okay? If I go too fast through the questions, again, you can ask for repeats at the end. Question number 2. Which Smith was both Scottish teacher and a Hogwarts professor on film? Which Smith was both Scottish teacher and a Hogwarts professor on film? And many other roles as well, but those two in particular. Which Smith was both Scottish teacher and a Hogwarts professor on film? I've got a new light this evening. I know I had some problems on the show last week, regulars will remember, where, I think there was a power surge going on because the lights were doing funny things, but also my ring light, you can probably see the reflection, look there. My old ring light went on me, cable broke, and it stopped working, which meant I was a bit in the dark throughout most of the show last week. Now I have a new one, and yeah, it's a bit different, but it's always fun to get new equipment to help me do the quiz. So yeah, I'm nice and bright now, which is much better for me as well. Question number 3 is James Bond question. So, Tom Jones sang the theme song in which James Bond movie? Tom Jones sang the theme song in which James Bond movie? That's a subject I haven't actually done over on my TikTok page. I've got hundreds of requests over the time I've been doing it, and I haven't actually done one of those. I might have to rectify that. Should do more Bond trivia with the new movie coming out at some point, I imagine. Definitely should tie something in with that for sure. That's exciting, if it ever actually gets released. But Tom Jones, for question 3, sang the theme song in which James Bond movie? Question number 4 is for 2 points, okay? So 1 point for each correct answer. Which 2 members of the Not the 9 O'Clock News team were a Smith and a Jones? Those of you who remember those 2 were probably expecting this to come up when you heard about the name of the round. Which 2 members of the Not the 9 O'Clock News team were a Smith and a Jones? 1 point for each. Just if you have no idea what I'm talking about there, because I know I've got a couple of maybe some younger people watching this time, just have a guess at 2 random first names. You never know, you might still get a point. These are more unusual first names, granted, but let's see how you go. Question number 5. Which politician once said, "If there's a fence strong enough, I'll sit on it"? Which politician once said, "If there's a fence strong enough, I'll sit on it"? And if you really struggle with this round, in general, well, Disney's next, and then it's 90s trivia after that, so you might get something. There. Don't worry about it. I always say over on TikTok, I've started saying, because there are a lot of people that are new to the whole concept of a pub quiz there, I say to them when they're quite annoyed that they get questions wrong or they're upset about it for any reason, I say, for every question you get wrong, you've learnt something new. Yeah? And it's true, isn't it? If you get a question wrong, then you know what the answer is. You might remember it for next time. And you might remember it if you ever needed that random knowledge. So don't feel bad about it. It's all part of the fun of it, and every day's a school day. Question, where are we? Question number 6 now for 2 points. Which 2 films earned Will Smith an Oscar nomination? Which 2 films earned Will Smith an Oscar nomination? Yes, I just have to double check my facts there. It is still just the 2 films. Yeah, 1 point for each. So again, have a guess at 2 random films that Will Smith has done, because you might get one right. He's not done that many to choose from. So which 2 could it have been that he got Oscar noms for? Question 7. Who is the only Jones ever to win BBC Sports Personality of the Year? Who is the only Jones ever to win BBC Sports Personality of the Year? Okay, question number 8 now. Question 8. Which 2 comedians advertised for John Smith's beers on UK TV? Which 2 comedians have advertised for John Smith's beers on UK television? One point for each again on that one. Right. Question number 9 then. Question number 9. You have to think back on your rugby trivia for this one, okay? Which 3 Joneses were named in the Welsh Six Nations squad of 2013? So this is going to be one where you have to not only think back to who could be playing that around that time, but also, if you have no idea about rugby, you could just have a guess at 3, I don't know, Welsh-sounding first names, maybe. Let's just see if that gets you anywhere. Which 3 Joneses were named in the Welsh 2013 Six Nations squad? 1 point for each there too. I wonder how many of them there are today. Might need to change this around for another time and have a look at that. But this one is specifically about the 2013 squad because there were 3 of them. Question number 10 now. Question 10. Which actress played Mariette Larkin in ITV's The Darling Buds of May? Which actress played Mariette Larkin in ITV's The Darling Buds of May? Next question is for 2 points. Which 2, for question 11, which 2 Joneses have been awarded the Brit Award for outstanding contribution to pop music since the Brits began? Which 2 Joneses have been awarded the Brit Award for outstanding contribution to pop music since the Brits began? This one's really interesting. One of them I think is pretty easy to get. The other one maybe not so. But yeah, it'd be fun to see who gets this one right and what your other guesses were for this one. Outstanding contribution to pop music. Which 2 Joneses have won that Brit Award? 1 point for each. Question 12. Which Playmate of the Year married billionaire J. Howard Marshall in 1991? Which Playmate of the Year married billionaire J. Howard Marshall in 1991? Again, if you've got no idea what I'm on about there, do not Google it. Don't. It's a family show. Don't Google it. Question number 13 then. Question 13. Which Smith and Jones were members of David Cameron's cabinet? Which Smith and which Jones were members of David Cameron's cabinet? Martin Iddon's in the comments there. Evening, Chris and everyone. Apologies, let's get quizzical late to the quiz this week. We'll be doing it properly a bit later. You know you will. That's fine, mate. No problem. Thanks for stopping by. And no problem. But like I say, let me know in the comments how you get on, okay? No problem, though, if you want to play along later. Okay, so question number 14 then. Question 14 now. What were the names of the two bank robbers who called themselves alias Smith and Jones on TV? What were the names of the two bank robbers who called themselves alias Smith and Jones on TV? And your last question is for 4 points. So, for question 15, what are the 4 titles of the Indiana Jones films that have been released so far? You're forgiven if you forget the name of the more recent one. But you do get a point if you remember it. It wasn't that bad. It just wasn't the same as the others, was it? What are the 4 titles of the Indiana Jones films that have been released so far? Don't have to put them in order or anything, just name all 4 of them, or as many as you can, 1 point for each. So if you want a question repeated, let me know now in the comments, and I will do that for you, and then we'll go through the answers and do the scores. Whilst I'm stalling for time, whilst you're doing that and jumping in the comments, I will do the usual thing of sharing a link with you. And actually, one of the links I have changed, although the charity one's still the same. But I've recently changed my Linktree link, so I'll tell you about that in a minute. Oh, Team Bath in late there. Here's Jenny. Can you go through 1 to 5 again, please? Sorry, of course I can. That's no problem. Yeah, it'll give everybody time to think because it was a particularly tricky round, I think, this one. So let's go through 1 to 5 again. Which actor for question 1 played Les Battersby in Coronation Street? It's the Smith and Jones round in case you didn't get that at the beginning. So if you don't know the answer, it's probably going to be a Smith or a Jones. So have a guess. Question 2, which Smith was both Scottish teacher and a Hogwarts professor on film? Question 3, Tom Jones sang the theme song in which James Bond movie? Question 4, which 2 members of the Not the 9 O'Clock News team were a Smith and a Jones? So again, just guess the first names there. And question 5, which politician once said, if there's a fence strong enough, I'll sit on it? But yes, welcome along. Glad you could be here. Better late than never, eh? Okay, so because you just joined us, I will go through the little bit of thing I had to say that it will take a little bit longer to talk about, whilst everybody gets up to speed with some of those. So I used to post in the comments and in the subject of every video a Linktree link which took you to a list of everything where you can find me wherever. Okay, so TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere and anywhere. Now, however, I've changed it over to a beacon, which is essentially the same thing, but it means I can put my own background in there, so make it look nicer. The buttons are more customizable, so they all look better. And also, it's got one of my TikTok videos linked and visible at the bottom of it. So I can always put something there to promote myself or to share one of my TikToks that's doing well on the same page. So it's way, way better. And there's lots of other bonuses to it that you won't care about. But essentially, if you see that link there look different to any of the ones before, and if you want to see the new look page, then you can do that, okay? It's in the description. It should be in the description. I'm sure I changed it over. But anyway, it's in the comments now. If it's not in there, That's a problem. I'll have to change it. But anyway, I can do that. The point is, I have changed it over. It's now a really cool, much nicer looking page where you can find every place to follow me wherever you want to. So that's what I wanted to say about that. And you've had a bit more thinking time now too. Does anybody else need a question repeated before I go through the answers and we move on to the Disney round, which will be round number 2? A Disney films round, I should say. Lots of fun questions in that one. No more repeats? Okay, I'm going to... Thank you for all the likes. That's great. That's appreciated. Helps out a lot. Right, so I'm going to go through the answers then, guys. Let's see how well you did. Mark your own and then let me know your team name and your team scores in the comments. You don't have to put a team name in, as I said, though. It's up to you. Right, question 1. The actor who played Les Battersby in Coronation Street is Bruce Jones. Question 2. The Smith that was a Scottish teacher and a Hogwarts professor was Maggie Smith. I believe she's Dame Maggie Smith, but yeah, Maggie Smith. Question 3. Tom Jones sang Thunderball. The theme song to Thunderball was sung by Tom Jones. So yes, Thunderball for a point for that one for question 3. Question 4. Which 2 members of the Not the 9 O'Clock News team were a Smith and a Jones? That was Mel Smith and Griff Rhys-Jones. So Mel and Griff, or Griff Rhys, for the points there. Question 5. Which politician once said, "If there's a fence strong enough, I'll sit on it"? That was Cyril Smith. Question 6. Which 2 films have earned Will Smith an Oscar nomination for 2 points? It is Ali and The Pursuit of Happiness. Question 7. Who is the only Jones ever to win the BBC Sports Personality of the Year? It was Anne Jones. Anne Jones for 1 point. The next one was for 2 points. Anne Jones was a tennis player, by the way. I just had to remind myself of that. Question 8. Which 2 comedians advertised for John Smith's beer in the UK? It was Jack D and Peter Kay. The Peter Kay adverts in particular were hilarious. Just, yeah, as far as beer adverts go, they were some of the funniest back in the day they were on. Question 9. Which 3 Joneses were named in the Welsh 2013 Six Nations squad? So we had Adam Jones, Alan Wynne Jones, and Ryan Jones. See what I mean? There's some of those very very typical Welsh names, especially the Alan Wynne Jones and Ryan. So yeah, hopefully you had a lucky guess at some of those if you weren't sure. Question 10. Which actress played Mariette Larkin in ITV's Darling Buds of May? That was Catherine Zeta-Jones. Question 11. Which 2 Joneses have been awarded the Brit Award for Outstanding Contribution to Pop Music? It was Tom Jones, bringing him up again, and David Bowie, because David Bowie's real name is David Jones. There we go. How many of you got that one right? Let me know. Question 12. Which Playmate of the Year married billionaire J. Howard Marshall in 91? That was Anna Nicole Smith. Question 13. Which Smith and Jones were members of David Cameron's cabinet? It was Ian Duncan Smith, who was Work and Pensions, and David Jones for Wales. Question 14. What were the names of the 2 bank robbers who called themselves alias Smith and Jones on TV? They were Hannibal Hayes and Kid Curry. And question 15. For a maximum of 4 points, what were the 4 titles of the Indiana Jones films released so far? So you had Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, The Last Crusade, and The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which would have been fine were it not for the whole aliens thing, and which I just don't think worked, and also probably the fridge. If you've seen the film, you know what I mean. That's probably a bit much. The rest of it you could accept in the world of Indiana Jones, I think, but those 2 just didn't work for me. No, and didn't work for a lot of people. But you know what? They're fun movies still. Cool. Let me know your scores then in the comments, everybody. And let's see how well you did, and then we'll get on with the Disney round, Disney films round. Also, I can repeat any if you missed the answers for some. I'm happy to repeat some just to make sure you can mark your rounds properly. And then, yeah, I think, I'm just trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to talk to you guys about. I don't know if there is this week. Sometimes I've got some fun things. Oh, I've got some funny stories to tell you, actually. Yeah, well, not so funny for me, but it might entertain you when I tell you. I just remembered. All right, okay. Diva's coming in with 12 points for that round. Yeah, see, again, if a lot of you, if you find you haven't got too many points in this round, you know, just reading through it then for you guys, I was like, man, there's some tough questions in this round, but 12 points is not bad. There's a few multiple point ones here, but 12 points, I think that's quite respectable. You got the David Bowie answer right. Brilliant. Yes, I would be very chuffed with myself if I got the David Bowie one right, because I'd forgotten that as well until I reread this one. Yeah, 13 for Gabby as well. That was tough but fun, she says. Thanks for that. 13 for Luke and Jane as well. It's a good score. Well done. It was a tricky round. 11 for the Brazilians. Is that 11 for Scylla as well? But I did get David Bowie right. Yes, well done. Good shout. Yeah, I totally forgot that was his real name. I knew it wasn't. Obviously, I knew David Bowie wasn't his real name, but I knew the Bowie part wasn't. I just totally forgot what the other bit was. Yeah, okay. Well, keep the scores coming in, guys. I know we're not as busy as we normally are tonight, but I know some of you are all in one house, so I know it's not quite so low on numbers, really. Big up to Eric for the Smith & Jones Cowboys names. Oh, huge shout out for that. Yeah, that's really obscure, isn't it? That kind of question. Donuts got 17 but didn't get Bowie. Interesting. Okay, well, good score then. 17 points without getting that one right. Yeah. Well, there's what, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 26 points, I think, is the maximum score in this round. So, yeah, I should tally these up. I just didn't have time today. Thanks for the repeats. 15 for Team Bath. Got the Brit Bowie, but not the Tom Jones. Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. I thought, yeah, I mean, they're only easy if you know the answer, obviously. But, like, when you think of Joneses, I can't think of another one other than Tom. And it's only because Bowie's obviously changed his name to David Bowie that it's different. But yeah, funny that, isn't it? Very good. Keep the scores coming in. If you'd like to post them, please feel free, and I will give you a little shout out. I always say we celebrate with those who do well and commiserate with those who didn't do quite so well. But remember, it is just for fun. So there's no shame here, and there never is. And I have the same ethos over on TikTok as well. As a lot of people don't realise, and they're worried, I think, in the comments that people are going to laugh at them if they get the question wrong. For whatever reason, and I'm just like, no, there's none of that here. And I'm very quick. Not that it's happened ever. I think maybe once somebody's commented something that I wasn't happy with on my page, so I just deleted it. But you know, there's never any shame or anything like that here. That's not how it works, and this is a safe place in both places. It always will be. So yeah, right. So round number 2 is going to be Disney. But on that subject, just very quick story, humour me, because I think you'll find it quite amusing. So Mark Hamill recently joined TikTok officially, right? It's not verified there, but Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker himself, obviously me being a Star Wars fan, very exciting. Somebody I follow on TikTok made a video about Star Wars and tagged him in it, and was encouraging everybody to tag Mark Hamill in it to try and get his attention. So I did the same, and I posted some kind of Star Warsy kind of pun with his name in it. Thought I was being really funny, you know, all that stuff. And so this video started doing really well for this person. Really excited for him. Maybe Mark Hamill noticed it. I then checked my phone a few hours later, and I got a notification, and it said Hamill himself, which is his username on everything. Hamill himself has liked your comment. My jaw hit the floor. My heart was beating through my chest, because the very thought of Mark Hamill noticing something that I had done, which I thought was just a remotely funny throwaway comment, just to try and get his attention for this content creator that I liked, I was losing my mind. And I was going mental for about 30 seconds. I was going crazy. And Chrissy was like, that's so good, that's amazing. And we were all just like loving it. I looked at the name closely again. Thank you for the likes. You'll laugh even more in a minute. Because it wasn't at Hamill himself, the name. It was Hamill himself, but the M was an R and then an N side by side. So it looked like an M. The entire profile was a copy of his profile. It was a fake. And this fake account was going through and liking and replying and commenting on this video. And so it wasn't him at all. And because Mark Hamill's not verified on TikTok yet, the accounts looked identical, except for that. And I went from through the roof with excitement to rock bottom in 30 seconds. I honestly, I can laugh at myself now and share that with you because I was just devastated at the time. Absolutely devastated. And then to top it all off, today I started getting comments from people on Instagram from these companies wanting to collaborate with me because they saw my account on TikTok had started gaining some traction and I'd started ramping up on followers, which, you know, means that I could get some free stuff if I really like it and like what they do, and I could promote it for them and get more free stuff. And that's how content collaboration kind of works in social media to an extent. And then I double checked them, thinking, well, look, I've fallen for these things before for a few seconds with Mark Hamill. This could be a fake as well. And sure enough, all these accounts were fake, and they were trying to scam me because I was getting excited about the fact I'd started to do remotely well. They were all scam accounts, and as soon as I googled their names, bang, all fake, all trying to have me on, all winding me up. I just go, you're joking. Oh no. So yeah, I'm just going to find it very difficult to get excited about anything for the next few days, I think. Anyway, one thing I am excited about is the fact it's time for a Disney round, because I love a bit of Disney, and I hope you guys don't mind it too. So here we go, 15 questions. Let's just crack on. I've waffled on enough between rounds. Question 1. Which Disney character wanted a fur coat made from Dalmatian fur? And there's actually a prequel movie just about this character coming out soon. Which Disney character wanted a fur coat made from Dalmatian fur? There you go. Question number 1 for you. Yes, I appreciate. I'm glad I've made some of you laugh there. Even the laughing emojis help the channel though. So you know, every cloud, every engagement helps, even just a little bit. So thank you. And the real problem I have now is if Mark Hamill for real likes anything I do ever again, I'm just going to be like, nah, it's not him. Nah, I'm not going to believe it. I thought you'd appreciate that story. Question 2 for 3 points. What are the first names of Donald Duck's 3 nephews? What are the first names of Donald Duck's 3 nephews? 1 point for each. So if you remember at least one of them, I'll be amazed if you don't remember the others. But good luck anyway. But hopefully that's 3 relatively straightforward points for you. What are the first names of Donald Duck's 3 nephews? Yeah, I can laugh about these things now, it's fine. But then, devastated. Question 3 then. Question 3, what was the name of Captain Hook's pirate ship? What was the name of Captain Hook's pirate ship? What was the name of Captain Hook's pirate ship for question 3? Question number 4 then. Question 4, what was the title of the first feature film that Pixar Studios released? What was the title of the first feature film that Pixar Studios released? One of my personal favourites. Won't be much to you guys, but yeah, it's one of my favourites. Question number 5. Thomas O'Malley could be found in which movie? Thomas O'Malley could be found in which movie? Excuse me. He actually has a ridiculously long name in the film. I once did a question about the full name of that character, and it really confused everybody. I don't know if any of you were on that show. Maybe some of you were. But also asked in the pub a while back too, and it's, yeah, everybody forgets it. If you haven't seen the film, there's a song with the name in it, and this ridiculous name. Okay, question number 6. Which movie was the first full-length animated feature film issued by Walt Disney Studios? Which movie was the first full-length animated feature film issued by Walt Disney Studios? It's going way, way back to the 1930s. I don't mind giving that away. 1930s. I won't say exactly when, because some of you may know immediately, maybe. But I'll tell you that it was in the 30s. Question number 7 is another 3-pointer. Which Disney films feature the songs A Whole New World for 1 point, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo for 2, and Breaking Free for 3 points? So 1 point for each. Which Disney films feature the songs A Whole New World, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, and Breaking Free? 3 different movies, 1 point for each. A Whole New World, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, and Breaking Free. Name the films. Question number 8, then question 8. What was the name of the skunk in Bambi? What was the name of the skunk in Bambi? Patreons might remember that, actually, because I think I did that question in the Patreon quiz last month, maybe? Purely coincidental, I happened to choose this round tonight and there's the same question in it. I'm pretty sure I did include that one. But you should know that kind of thing anyway, of course, being quiz regulars. Okay. Question number 9 is for 3 more points. Which 3 children travelled with Peter Pan to Neverland in the movie Peter Pan? Which 3 children travelled with Peter Pan to Neverland in Peter Pan? 1 point for each. Okay, question number 10 now. Question 10. Which Disney film is set in the dilapidated town of Radiator Springs? Which Disney film is set in the dilapidated town of Radiator Springs? And there have been sequels to it, I will tell you that much, but the first one is the one that was mainly set in Radiator Springs. Question number 11 is for 3 more points. Which 3 characters first sang Hakuna Matata in The Lion King? Which 3 characters first sang Hakuna Matata in The Lion King? I believe it's the same in the remake they did of it, quote unquote live action, because it's not really live action, as opposed to standard 2D animation. I think it's the same 3 characters. But anyway, certainly in the original, 1 point for each. Okay, question 12. In which Disney feature film would you first meet the villainous character called Lady Tremaine? In which Disney feature film would you first meet the villainous character, called Lady Tremaine? She's horrible. Horrible. But name the film. That's question 12 in our Disney round. 3 more to go in this one. As I said before, if you want any repeats, I can do those for you to give you a bit more thinking time. Once we get to the end, I'll do all those for you. Question 13 is for 2 points. Which 2 actors voiced James P. Sullivan and Mike Wazowski in Monsters, Inc.? Which Oh, Tracy's just joined us as well. I'll catch up with that comment in a minute. I'll do the repeat first. Which actors, for question 13, voiced James P. Sullivan and Mike Wazowski in Monsters, Inc.? 1 point for each. Right, Tracy says, staff meeting at work ran over, so just home now. I'm going to jump back off as it's in the middle of a round and catch up later. Hope everyone's well. I'll put our scores on when we catch up. Bless you, Tracy. Thank you for that. Very good luck to just the two of us, your little team. That is awesome to know you'll catch up. And yes, please do let me know your scores. But we are in the middle of the second round. So, yeah, but good luck. Question number 40. Also, how rude is it for a meeting to overrun on a quiz night? Outrageous. Never mind. Question 14 then. Name the only Disney animated film, like traditional animation, to be nominated for a Best Picture Oscar. Name the only Disney animated film to be nominated for a Best Picture Oscar. All right, the last question this round is for 3 points. Name the last 3 Disney films to win the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. Name the last 3 Disney films to win the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. So that's full length, feature length, okay? There's other shorts that get nominated and win awards, but we're talking about full length cinematic movies, if you like. The last 3 to win the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. That's that one. Yes. So let me know if you need any repeats, guys. Whilst you're thinking about that, I will share the other link I like to talk about and share on my live shows, because it's always going to be an important thing. So the link I'm sharing now is for Secret Santa 365. That is a charity that I've supported pretty much since I started doing these shows. So they provide... oh, hang on. Gary says, is 15 including Disney Pixar or just Disney? It's, yeah, anything under the Disney umbrella. So yes, Pixar as well. Disney owned Pixar, so yes, when I ask that question it will be. Thank you for clarifying that, or for asking for me to clarify that. But yes, including Pixar, because Disney do own Pixar. So yes, the link I've just shared is a charity link. They help like struggling families and families with young children in particular through the pandemic, and in general they do help them out all year round. And at the minute they're doing laptops for learners, where they're taking donations of old laptops and refurbishing them and giving them to needy people who perhaps can't afford to. And in a pandemic kind of world and moving forward, it's more and more important that people have access to technology so that they can keep in touch with people and just generally get by. So yes, if you wanted to support them in any way, shape or form, you can do that through that link as well. Instead of supporting me directly, the decision is yours. Or you could just watch along and have some fun and don't support either, and that's fine. It's entirely up to you. But there's lots of choices in the 2 links I've shared there to support me or to support a charity. It's up to you. But yeah, that's Secret Santa 365. That's what they do, amongst many other things. So yeah, if you're interested, have a look at that link once the show's finished. Okay, we can go through the answers then. If nobody else has any requests for more repeats of questions, that's no problem. 1 point for each as always, and then we'll move on to the next round. There's a different kind of picture round I'm posting today, which you may have noticed if you saw the announcements. For those in the Top Fan group, if you have got a Top Fan badge from Facebook, you'll probably be in that group. It's called Irish Eyes. So there's 30 of them, and it's just the picture of a famous Irish person's eyes. So it's a screenshot like that, and you have to work out based on that view of them who they are. And there's 30 of them to guess. So something a bit different. But that's that. Right, no more requests have come in, so I'm going to go through now the answers for this round. So question number 1, the Disney character that wanted a fur coat made out of Dalmatian fur is Cruella de Vil. Question 2, the first names of Donald Duck's 3 nephews are Huey, Dewey and Louie. Question 3, Captain Hook's pirate ship is the Jolly Roger. Question 4, the title of the first feature film that Pixar Studios released was Toy Story, which is, yeah, that whole franchise, my absolute favourite of their films, love it. Question 5, Thomas O'Malley could be found in which movie? He is his full name, Abraham DeLacy, Giuseppe Casey, Thomas O'Malley, O'Malley the Alley Cat. Ridiculous. But yeah, it is from the Aristocats. Question 6. Which movie was the first full-length animated feature film issued by Walt Disney Studios back in 1937? Was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. That was the first one they did. Question 7. Which Disney films feature the songs A Whole New World, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo and Breaking Free? It is Aladdin for A Whole New World, Cinderella for Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, and then Breaking Free is from High School Musical. I haven't seen any of those, so don't worry if you haven't. Question 8. What was the name of the skunk in Bambi? The skunk was called Flower. Question 9. Which 3 children travelled with Peter Pan to Never Never Land in Peter Pan? They were Wendy, Michael and John Darling. 1 point for each correct name. Question 10. Which Disney film is set in the dilapidated town of Radiator Springs? It is Cars. Question 11. The 3 characters that sang Hakuna Matata were Timon, Pumbaa and Simba. Again, 1 point for each. Question 12. The Lady Tremaine is a villainous character that first featured in Cinderella. She was the wicked stepmother, I guess. Yeah, wicked stepmother. Question 13. Which actors voiced Sully and Mike Wazowski in Monsters, Inc.? They were John Goodman and Billy Crystal. Brilliant, brilliant performances. I do like those films too, actually. Question 14. Name the only Disney animated film to be nominated for a Best Picture Oscar. It is Beauty and the Beast. That's that one. Beauty and the Beast for their animated films. And then question 15. The last 3 Disney films to win the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature are Soul, Toy Story 4 and Coco. Should put that in. Toy Story 4 and Coco along with Soul. Soul is really good, actually. It's a typical kind of film from them where it's obviously it's made to look like a kid's movie, but there's lots of very grown-up, mature themes running through it and really makes you think. But it's really clever, really good film. But Soul, Toy Story 4 and Coco are the answers there. So let's see how well you did. Tally up your scores, please, and we will see how you did with that one. Yeah. Just to be clear, the difference between 14 and 15... 14 is the Best Picture Oscar, which any film could get nominated for. And then the question 15 is afterwards they created the Best Animated Feature for a separate award category for all the animated films, which basically Disney win pretty much every year. Diva says, Soul is so layered and it is a beautiful film. It really is. Honestly, it's so good in that respect. Really good music as well in it. Really cool. And also, she's got 18 points. Good score. Let's see how well the rest of you did then. Keep those scores coming in, guys. And let's see how well you did. See, I'm sure we'll get some slightly higher scores in this one, as is already the case with Diva. So, yeah, well done there. And then we'll move on to an interesting 90s quiz. And we'll see how well you do with that one. Loads of points in the 90s quiz. I wonder how Let's Get Quizzical are doing, and I wonder how just the 2 of us are doing as well, because they're both playing catch-up, aren't they? So I'll be interested to see those scores as well. Yeah, but look forward also after this for the Irish Eyes picture round. As always with the picture round, I'll remind you later, but give the post of my picture round a like so that you're then notified when I post the answers. Although, admittedly, I apologise. Last week I totally forgot and posted the answers the next day. I got a lot going on. I'm sure you can I'm sure you can forgive me for that. But yeah, we get there eventually. But it looked like it went down well. I will do another one like it. Some of you did request it, so I will do another one like the one I posted last week. It was for those of you who haven't seen it yet, it's pinned at the moment. It's my pinned post. So it's music. Guess the albums, or guess the bands from the album covers. And then I did a movie poster version of that before. Luke and Jane have got 16 points. Good stuff. Let's see how well some of you others did. Get your scores in the comments, and then we'll move on to the 90s round. Yeah, 16 points, still good. I saw how many this one's out of. Let's go back. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, not too bad actually. Yeah, good scores. There's probably about 10 or more points available in this round, 26 or so in total. But you know, we don't really mind, at least in this environment. Doesn't really matter how close you get to the maximum score, but it's always good to see how well you did do. It's all gone a bit quiet, guys. Are you too busy having a natter or something? I'm gonna start the next round, I think. Unless the comments are not coming through for me. Do you know, last week we had a problem with this. There's a lot of comments that I didn't see that apparently still came up in the comments, and I couldn't read them out because I couldn't see them. And right now the comments have kind of stopped. So, but yeah, there was also last week somebody in the comments who was new to all this, and I'd never seen pop up before, but was actually quite rude in the comments apparently. And just because I didn't read out their name immediately when they said hello. No, I haven't seen any of Eric's. Chris, thank you for that. I haven't seen any of Eric's. I've read out every comment that I've seen so far. Every single comment. So if I have not read out a comment for you, there is a problem. And I'll tell you the other thing, it's not just on my Chromebook. I haven't seen any of Eric's comments on my phone either. I've read out every comment that's come in. So there's got to be more that I'm not seeing. So there you go. You heard it from me. I've read out every comment I can see in this list. And if I haven't read it out, I haven't seen it. Yeah, that's a problem, isn't it? You see what I mean about Facebook? Just every now and then you get these bugs and they just so annoying. Right, so Chris, you'll have to be your main communicator for the team, and unfortunately for anybody else, if I don't read out your comments, it's yeah, something's definitely up. Then I didn't read out your scores last week. Oh, Jenny says she hasn't seen any comments from Eric either. So there is some kind of problem with. I reckon it's going to be about the device that these people are using. Because I work for a software company, so I kind of have, I'm not a developer, but I work with developers, right, for my day job. It's going to be the device that the people that are using, the ones that I can't see and nobody else is seeing, right, because it's clearly not just my problem either. The device that you've got, that you're using to connect to Facebook, has a fault in it. That means it's not communicating with the main network, if you like, of all the Facebook comments. And therefore, or it's a problem with our end, with all our devices that aren't seeing them, not allowing those messages through to ours. There's two choices there, I guess. In layman's terms, that's the best I could come up with, I guess. So yeah. So Chris, have you seen those comments coming through from Eric? Just to give us an idea, that would be good to know as well. God, for a show like this, when we all talk in the comments, to not see your comments is it's even more annoying than not having the graphics around here that I like to have up. Again, because Facebook. Let me know. I'm going to start the next round, but keep the comments coming in for those who I have been able to see. And maybe if you're watching this with other people, get them to comment instead of you, if I haven't read out your comments already, and see if their devices are behaving themselves okay. Must be a problem. I don't know. I'm using 2 different Android devices, a mobile phone that's Android and a Chromebook that runs Android. But yeah, I've read out the ones I've seen. Sorry about that, guys. The 90s quiz starts now, though. Keep the comments coming, though, and we'll see how we go. Question 1 for you. 15 questions in total. Which band's debut 1990s UK hit was called Swear It Again? Which band's debut 1990s UK hit was called Swear It Again? That's your first question that round. And I know there are other people watching right now who would probably say something in the comments. But I just not seen them. So sincere apologies. I would read out every single comment that comes in normally. And I just can't do that. So never mind. There's nothing we can do really. Just got to crack on and hope that they eventually fix it. Okay, question 2. Which football club won the FA Cup the most times in the 90s? Which football club won the FA Cup the most times in the 90s? I get so many requests for football trivia over on my TikTok. It's insane. As soon as I started doing 1 or 2 club-specific ones, everybody wants their team done with a TikTok video. And I've got to be really careful about that because I don't want to only be a football trivia channel on TikTok. I can't let it be that specific. So I'm trying to mix it up with other requests. Trying to. It does take a while to get round to them all, of course, that means. But yeah, I like doing all trivia, not just one thing. So, but I do try and do at least one request for everybody. Okay, question number 3 now. Question 3. Tommy and Angelica Pickles starred in which 90s cartoon series? Which is apparently getting a reboot of some description as well. Tommy and Angelica Pickles starred in which 90s cartoon series? Yeah, I wonder if it is an iPhone versus Android thing. Maybe if you've got an Apple device and you're commenting and us here with Android phones aren't seeing them. I don't know. That theory will probably be blown out of the water if one of you comments to say that you use an iPhone and you can see these ones. It's not up to us to resolve it, but I don't know. If that keeps happening, maybe we need to come up with another way of you communicating with me. Okay, question number 4 now. Question 4, 2 points to the nearest team. How many World Snooker titles did Stephen Hendry win in the 90s? If you get it exactly right, you get 2 points. I commented when he logged on, when Eric logged on. Let's have a look. Oh, you're right. There was the evening all from Eric, and then it failed. I didn't see any after that. Yeah, one of the very first comments was his. You're right. Was it made on the same device? It must have been, surely. There's nothing after that, though. Oh, this is so weird, isn't it? Yeah, right at the top, the third comment that came in. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, so, yeah. It is the same device, yeah. There's something very strange. I mean, I could report it to Facebook, but to be honest, I'm sure many people have already reported it. And also, they take so long to fix things. We'll just have to monitor it, I guess. We could always find a different way of communicating, though. That much we could try and do. All right, question number 5. Which company launched the world's first bagless cyclonic vacuum cleaner in 1993? Which company launched the world's first bagless cyclonic vacuum cleaner in 1993? Just going back to that previous question, 2 points if you got the amount of World Snooker titles exactly right. 1 point if you were one away, either side of the answer. just to be kind because you were close enough. But 2 points if you get it exactly right. Yeah, question 5 again. Which company launched the world's first bagless cyclonic vacuum cleaner in 1993? Question number 6 then. Question 6. Which Dutch town gave its name to the treaty that founded the EU? Which Dutch town gave its name to the treaty that founded the EU? Question number 7. Operation Desert Storm launched the full-scale invasion of which country? Operation Desert Storm launched the full-scale invasion of which country? Question number 2 then for, sorry, question 8 for 2 points. Question number 8. Which 2 MPs were voted Speaker of the House of Commons in the 90s? Which 2 MPs were voted Speaker of the House of Commons in the 90s? Oh, Eric, I can see that comment. I know that one because I was there, he says. You were there? What? Madness. Really? Wow, I'm glad I got to see that comment. I'm glad you're here to tell the tale of it as well. My goodness. So which 2 MPs for question 8 were voted Speaker of the House of Commons during the 90s? 1 point for each. Question number 9. Question 9. What is the full name of the animal disease BSE? What is the full name of the animal disease BSE that was prevalent for a time through the 90s? Just to spell it phonetically, in case you really wanted to have a guess and didn't know what I was on about there. Bravo Sierra Echo BSE. Why is it then I can see some of your comments, but not all of them? That is very strange. But yeah, again, I can see it on both devices. The clot plickens, as I say. Oh, you were in the RAF at the time. See, I can see these messages now. Oh, wow. Fair play. Okay. Question number 10. Question 10 is for 2 more points. David Jason gave voice to which 2 cartoon characters in the 90s? David Jason gave voice to which 2 cartoon characters in the 90s? 1 point for each. I was tempted to say the American thing when you find somebody that was or in the military or is in the military, where they say thank you for your service. I don't know. I don't know why that's not more of a thing. I think it's quite an important thing to thank people that are prepared to do such a job, you know? But we never really, it's not really a thing over here. It's always something you see Americans do. I don't know why that is. Like, why wouldn't you be grateful for somebody to do any kind of job for the forces? Potentially putting your life on the line every day. Even if you did something behind the scenes, you know, you could still be sent out there to a dangerous place. Whereas the rest of us are all cozy and tucked up in our beds at night. Why wouldn't you be grateful for somebody to do that? I don't know. People just don't say that, do they, over here that much? I don't know. What do you think about that? Let's carry on. Question number 11. Who doused Michael Jackson with water live on air at the Brit Awards? Obviously in the 90s. Who doused Michael Jackson with water live on air at the Brit Awards? Maybe it's too cheesy. People find it too cheesy. They don't like to say that. A bit cringy. I don't know. I don't think it is. But, yeah. Question 12 is for 3 points. Which 3 England Test cricket captains lost an Ashes series in the 90s? Which 3 England Test cricket captains lost an Ashes series in the 90s? This is a cricket question, in case you didn't know what that was. Sorry, I do say that anyway, but just to be clear, some of you may not have a clue when it comes to cricket. Which 3 England Test cricket captains lost an Ashes series in the 90s? 1 point for each. We had some really good players in the 90s, but clearly not good enough to have won the Ashes, unfortunately. Or at least not every time. Not always been that bad, though. All that unfortunate. I'll give you another moment to think of that, and just to warn you, the next question is for 5 points. So brace yourself for that one. We don't often do more than, well, 4 points occasionally, but this next one is a 5-pointer. So you might need some more thinking time at the end of the round for this one. That's totally fine. I'm sure we can waffle on in the comments if we need to. Okay. Question 13 then. Which 5 films from the 1990s feature the following songs? So you might want to write down the songs to remember these, okay? So which 5 films from the 90s feature the following songs? Kiss from a Rose by Seal. You'll Be in My Heart by Phil Collins. My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. And Everything I Do It For You by Bryan Adams. So name the films that those songs are prominent in or from. I'll say the films again. Kiss from a Rose by Seal. You'll Be in My Heart by Phil Collins. My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. And Everything I Do It For You, Bryan Adams. What films were they from in the 90s? Yeah, I mean, you'll always know, just going back to the comments thing, you'll always know when your comment has come through, because I will always acknowledge it. The only time I couldn't do is when it was back when I first started doing these shows, and you know, we were first locked down, and it was all such an alien thing for everybody. Everybody rushed to anything and everything they could to give themselves some kind of normality. And there were times where I had over 100 people or devices watching and commenting, and then it was just chaos. Yeah, madness in the comments. But when it's much more manageable, I will always acknowledge every comment I get. At least I certainly try to, because I just appreciate you being here. All right, question 14. What did Tim Berners-Lee unveil to the public in 1991? What did Tim Berners-Lee unveil to the public in 1991? You need to be careful with your answer here. I will say that much, and I'll explain why when I give you the answer. Question 15 is for a final 4 points in this evening's quiz. 4 more points available. So, which 4 singers or rappers who died in the 90s went on to have a posthumous UK #1 hit single, either under their own name or as part of a group? So after they died, they had a UK #1 hit single, okay? Which 4 singers or rappers who died in the 90s went on to have a UK #1 hit single under their own name, or under their own name, not part of a group. Sorry, under their own name, not part of a group. I misread that initially. So under their own name, and name those 4 singers or rappers. 1 point for each. So there's quite a few multiple choice questions there. If you want me to repeat any, let me know, because that will give you thinking time in general. I'll remind you again about the picture round. As soon as the live show's finished, I'll go back onto the Facebook page and post that for you. There's 30 different pictures in the Irish Eyes picture round, and then the answers will be posted as a separate sheet in the comments, just like I do for all the picture rounds. And again, for anybody that's new that's watching, thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for watching. But the picture rounds, there are hundreds of them. There's loads of them in the photo album pages of this Facebook page. So if you're ever bored, you ever want something to do, just have a scroll through and see if any of the picture rounds catch your eye. Share them with whoever you want, okay? Good, right, so no more repeats have come in. I am gonna stall for a little bit longer, and then I'll go through the answers for this 90s quiz round. We'll see how well you all did. And then I'll be sharing, of course, the picture round as soon as we say our goodbyes. Okay, and let me just check, was there something else? Oh, I was going to say also, Patreon shout-outs. Thank you to, in terms of Patreons this evening, I do kind of mix up who I say thank you to. I'm going to give a shout-out to Andy. I know Andy's not watching this evening, but I know he will catch up. I'm giving him a shout-out because I've got a feeling he's watching the Oxford game right now, and I've got a feeling they haven't done very well. I don't know if he's tuned in at all this evening, but I know he wasn't watching initially. He sent his apologies because he was going to watch the Oxford game and hope they did well in this first leg, I think it is, of the playoffs. And yeah, I don't think they're doing very well, last I heard. So I'm going to give him a shout out. I hope he's doing all right, because God knows I know how it feels, and I'm sure many of you do if you support a football team, how it feels when your team, you really want them to do well and win something, and they're just not playing very well, or not good enough. So a big shout out to him. Shout out to Gabby for being here and being a patron of mine, and a shout out to Diva as well, in particular, because Diva is the CEO of my merch store, I've decided. Thank you so much for that. In terms of Patreons at the upper 2-tier levels, those are the ones that get the shout outs. But I also want to say a big thank you to Team Bath for your support recently as well. I need to acknowledge that because that's really helped. All the money I'm collecting in from this, it's although eventually I'd like it to be more of a full-time job for me, it's going towards getting better technology to improve the quiz offering I do, and hopefully one day be able to provide fancy graphics and things of my own here with a bit of green screen stuff going on maybe. But in order to do that, I need a better laptop. So this is a perfect vehicle for me to generate a bit of extra income and put that towards savings to get myself that technology. And you've all been fantastic in supporting me to do that. And I really cannot wait, because in August I will have everything I need financially to get what I want. So that means that hopefully from mid-August onwards, I'll be able to change things up and do something new and exciting with this, and yeah, grow things even more, and take over the world with my quizzes. We'll see, maybe just a little bit more, but they'll certainly change, and that's all thanks to the support I get here. So thank you all very, very much. Okay, time for the answers then. Lots of waffle on tonight, I hope you don't mind. Right. Diva says CEO of merch. Love it. Yeah, I wanted to call it something, and that's what I came up with in that second. So there you go. Yeah, you are CEO of my merch store. Maybe it'll be CMO, Chief Merchandise Officer. Definitely a C level, as they call it. Definitely. Yeah, I really do appreciate it. Okay. Question 1 then. Which band's debut 1990s hit was called Swear It Again? It's Westlife. Question 2. Which football club won the FA Cup the most times in the 1990s? It is Manchester United. They won it 4 times. If it wasn't for the first time they won it, Ferguson was probably going to get the sack, because he hadn't won anything for like 6 seasons or so. I think it may have been his 7th season actually. And he was on the verge of getting the sack, and then they won the FA Cup, and then it all went downhill from there, obviously. Got Diva laughing again. But yeah, Man United, they won it 4 times. Question 3, Tommy and Angelica Pickles starred in which 90s cartoon series? It is the Rugrats. I used to love that. That was great. The voice of Chucky for a time on Rugrats was Nancy Cartwright, who's the voice of Bart Simpson. She's brilliant. She's on TikTok as well. It's really funny. She keeps like tricking people because nobody realizes that it's the lady that does the voice of Bart Simpson a lot of the time. And they're just like, oh, that sounds just like Bart Simpson. She's like, yeah, I know. That's exactly what it is because I am. She's brilliant. All right, question 4, the world snooker titles. Now, for Stephen Hendry in the 90s, it is 7. So give yourself 2 points if you put 7. If you put 6 or 8, you can have 1 point for being close. Okay? But 7 get you 2 points. Question 5, the company that launched the world's first bagless cyclonic vacuum cleaner in 1993 is Dyson. Question 6, which Dutch town gave its name to the treaty that founded the EU? That was Maastricht. Question 7, the Operation Desert Storm launched the full-scale invasion of which country? It was Kuwait. Question 8, which 2 MPs were voted Speaker of the House of Commons in the 90s? It is Betty Boothroyd and Bernard Weatherall. Question 9, what is the full name of the animal disease BSE? It's bovine spongiform encephalopathy. Encephalopathy, I should say. Bovine spongiform encephalopathy. Question number 10. David Jason gave voice to which cartoon characters in the 90s? It was Danger Mouse and Count Duckula. Both big parts of my childhood as well. Brilliant shows. Question 11. Who doused Michael Jackson with water live on air at the Brit Awards in the 90s? It was Jarvis Cocker, lead singer of Pulp. Question 12. Which 3 England Test cricket captains lost an Ashes series in the 90s? It is Graham Gooch, Michael Atherton and Alec Stewart. Question 13. This is the 5-pointer. So the 5 films then. Kiss from a Rose by Seal is from Batman Forever. You must have put Batman Forever. It wasn't any of the other ones. You'll Be in My Heart by Phil Collins is from Tarzan, the Disney animated film. My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion is Titanic. Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen was from Wayne's World. And Everything I Do It For You by Bryan Adams is from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Brilliant. Brilliant film. And also that was, I can't remember how old I was then. About, I don't know, 11, 12. That was the first single I ever bought. There you go. Random fact about me. I'm sure I said that before. Question 14. What did Tim Berners-Lee unveil to the public in 1991? He unveiled to the public the World Wide Web. WWW. If you put the internet, it's wrong because the internet was around before the World Wide Web in different ways. But World Wide Web you needed to put. Question 15. Which 4 singers or rappers who died in the 90s went on to have posthumous UK #1 hit singles under their own names? You've got Freddie Mercury, Tupac, The Notorious B.I.G. and Ava Cassidy for 4 points. So there we go. Tally up your scores, please, everybody. I just realised the camera is at such an angle. Every time I slouch down in my chair, it just looks like you've got a floating head presenting to you. That's, you know, I'm just trying to sit up. I need to work out where I'm best positioning this camera next time because I've changed my setup thanks to this new light I've got. Yeah, so let's see how well you did in that round. And hopefully I get to see your comments as they come in. I'm really frustrated for you all that I couldn't see all of them tonight again. But hey, we'll get there. I'm sure Facebook one day will get their act together. But yeah, tally up your scores then. Let's see how well you did. And then I will get on with posting that picture around for you. Oh, and I've got to record some more TikToks as well. I've not got any in my drafts, so I need to record some more TikToks tonight. So look out, if you do follow me there, do look out for some more. I'm posting between 3 and 5 every day. 1 question per video with the poll options to choose what your answer is. So a 50-50 choice in every one. Lots of fun to be had. Hope you see it. Donuts, yes I have, scores 19 points. Diva's got 16 points. Luke and Jane have got 11 points. Excellent. Thank you for that, guys. Yeah, I'm just thinking I didn't see... Yeah, I've read all the other ones out I've seen. So if you posted any before that I didn't, oh, gutted. Gutted about that. But yes, Donuts, Diva, and Luke and Jane, I've seen your scores so far. And Chris says 16 for the Blackpool Bar Stewards. Missed Eric's. Yeah, I can't. Again, I haven't seen any other Eric comments since he told us he was in the RAF. Ant says, please can you say a happy birthday to Jew? Of course. Yes, I saw you post about it earlier. Totally forgot. She's been looking forward to the birthday quiz. Do you know what? I thought you wouldn't join the quiz because it was her birthday and you'd had other plans. That's why you're all together. Oh, it all makes sense now, doesn't it? Happy birthday, Jew. Thank you so much for you and the family's continued support. You guys are awesome. And yeah, I'm really pleased you decided to be here for your birthday. That means a lot. Thank you. And I hope you did well. What was your score? Let me know. And I'm so glad I got to see that comment, because otherwise I'd have totally forgotten and not said happy birthday to you. Can't have that. Oh, there we go. Yes, happy birthday from all of us. And I'm sure Abby would say happy birthday too. She's been a bit poorly today. She had to come home from school early, so she wasn't really up to being on camera tonight. But for those who don't know, Abby's my daughter. She normally comes in and asks a question to everybody to kick the show off with. She has her own little question to start the show when I'm here on Facebook, but she couldn't be here for those reasons. So she sends her love though, and she's very sad again that she couldn't be here. And I'm sure she would say a big happy birthday to you. There we go. All right, guys. So I'm going to post a picture around for you in just a moment. Irish Eyes, keep an eye out for it. Give it a like, and then you'll get the notification as soon as... Oh, thank you, Sue. Yeah, you'll get a notification then when I post the answers in the comments, and you can see how well you did. And do share it with people if you want to. Again, there's tons of picture rounds I've done, so do help yourself. Go share them with whoever. And don't forget to check the links in the description, the links I've shared earlier on. If you want to support me in any way, that would be much appreciated. I've told you already what it's going towards. And yeah, if you want to follow me anywhere, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok, or anywhere else, if you've got those apps, please do so. Do get engaged. It really does mean a lot to me and help out a lot, and it's fun. Okay, I think that's about it, guys. I look forward to seeing how you get on with the picture round. If you want to share your answers and your guesses, and take care, stay safe. I will see you same time next time for more of the same fun. And don't forget that the notebooks are still available as well. If you want your own notebook, £8 delivered. That's it. Take care, everybody. See you next time. Cheers.